morning and welcome back to another episode of Back to Basics. I hope you've had a restful weekend, Monday being a holiday, and my apologies for being late with episode 6. I hope you guys have enjoyed last week's episodes from 1 to 5. I see that quite a few have viewed the videos on social media and shared them with your friends. Thank you so much. I really hope it makes a difference for someone out there. Today we're going to talk about what happens when you get a flat. Now this is not really safety skills, but I thought let's bring it in because a lot of people don't know what to do when they get a flat while riding the bike. Hopefully you don't get a sudden flat or a blowout while halfway through a corner. That could end really bad. So what happens when you get a flat and you're traveling in a straight line and you feel that your bike is not behaving like it should? Number one, you need to try and determine which wheel has the flat. And I'd say the first thing you should do is when you realize you have a flat is to slow down. Slow down by tapping off, by rolling off your throttle. Don't apply any brakes yet because you don't know which tire has the flat. Because if you apply the wrong brake, in other words, let's say you apply the front brake and the front wheel, front tire is where the flat is, you can actually separate the rim from the tire itself and lose any traction on your front wheel. So number one is slow down by tapping off. If your steering becomes stiff and you feel that it's really cumbersome, an effort to steer, in other words, almost like you're riding on a square wheel, yes, you basically are, because the tire is now flat, not round anymore, then that is your front wheel getting as a flat. On the back wheel, if your back wheel is flat, you would start to feel movement under your butt. Hopefully that is a slow puncture and not a sudden one. Alright, so let's say you're on the front, your front tire is where the flat is. You tap off and you slowly apply a rear brake. And don't do any sudden steering maneuvers. Try and take your bike off to the left or off the road as smooth as you can, and do not panic. Because if you panic, you're going to be erratic and inconsistent in your steering. So tap off, apply the rear brake, gear down because it's on your rear wheel that the power is being distributed, not on the front wheel. So, and then try and get the bike off the road as quick as you can and as smooth as you can. If it's the rear wheel where the puncture is, you can safely tap off again, apply front brake as much as you want, and no rear brake and no gearing down. Any inconsistent gearing down could lock up the back wheel and again separate the rim from the tire. Now that you've got the puncture, I'm going to take a tire and show you how to plug a tire. Because I'm not sure how many people actually know how to do that, and if you don't have a tire plugging kit or repair kit that you carry with you while you're riding, I suggest that you somehow do, because it's not a big thing that you have to carry with you. You can easily fit that in a pannier or in a backpack along with a first aid kit. Let's do this. Alright, so now we've got flat next to the road, and like I said, I'm pulling an old car tire in. I don't have an old bike tire with me, but the concept is the same, just two little things. This method doesn't work on tube tires. Tube tires you could use, for the time being, you could try and use that little foam stuff that you squirt into the tire, because when you have a puncture on a tube tire, the hole through the tube and the hole through the actual tire itself, the two holes won't line up. So because of the deflation of the tube on the inside. So what happens now is where that hole's moved to, the chances are that it is on a tire where the hole isn't, and squirting in that foamy stuff or whatever would seal that hole on the tube. That'll help. You don't do this on a tube tire. On a tubeless tire, because most of our bikes have tubeless, this is the method, and this is a kit that I carry with me specifically for tubeless tires. I don't carry that foam with me because if you leave that stuff in the sun for too long, it could be a mess under the seat, and it's a big thing. So here we have a typical nail in the tire. We hate these little things. So what you need to do is, obviously that thing needs to come out. Okay, so like I said, also the things like I carry with me in the previous video is a Leatherman, and that boy key needs to come out. The tire is already flat, and that boy key needs to come out. See, a little rusty sucker like this. And there's the hole in the tire. So what you need to do now is for the glue to adhere properly between that sticky strips and the hole in the inside, you need to ream that. In other words, you need to roughen that surface up. So you get yourself a tire repair kit like this, and there's the glue, the compressed air bombs, quite a few of these you would need to carry with you, a little knife you get in the kit like that, for instance. And then these two little tools, and a very important thing as well is this elbow valve to get air in. Sometimes you can't get in there because of the valve stem is metal, it's not rubber that you can bend it so you can get that little compressed air in there. But those are the basics that you need to have on your tire picket. So you take this boykie and you run it into that hole a couple of times just to roughen it up. Now we've got, there we go, just take it once or twice, just to roughen it up. Twist it and roughen it up, just to make the hole big enough so you can squeeze this little sucker through that as well. Now what you do is you take one of these sticky strips, and you bring it out there. Come boykie. Goodness, you can also put it in your mouth and chew it if you're bored. So there's the sticky strip. This alone is not enough, all right? So you work it through, you just squeeze it a bit flat so you can get it through that eye. And you pull it through halfway. See that? Almost halfway through. That's it there. Pull it through halfway. And now you've put the glue on, and as Murphy would have it, the sucker is still sealed. There we go. Put some glue on in the hole itself, just a little bit, just a drop there, and then you apply the rest on this sticky strip. And don't worry about applying too much. Rather apply too much than too little. There we go. Try not to get it in your fingers, but that should do it. Just close that cap, and then you apply some force. What you need to do is you need to put this into the hole halfway and then yank it out so that the needle cuts that leather strip through. So we're going to chew it now. And then when you do pull it, that needs to go in about until that much sticks out of the tire, outside the tire. And then you pull it out quickly so it cuts it off on the inside of the tire. And then you bring that little knife out. And don't cut this thing too short, Well, you just cut it there, about that far above the tire surface. And that'll eventually, when you start riding, will mushroom out. So you just cut that off. Careful you don't cut your tire. I'm trying to avoid getting the stinks on my fingers. That's it, that's number one. Stick it on my bike. And there's the other one. Like this, and you leave that like this. As you ride, that'll push in and mushroom out on the outside. So your first couple of kilometers that you ride, I'd say about 10 k's or so, take it easy. So once that's plugged, then you put one of these bombs onto your valve. I'm just going to use this thing as an example. You put that onto your valve, make sure it's nice and tight on your valve and on your wheel, and you twist this bomb into this little unit, the release, You twist, keep on twisting it until you really twist until the bomb gets punctured. And then once you're ready, you open the tap. Then that releases the compressed air into your tire, and you probably need, depending on the size of your tire, you probably need about 3 of these to bring the tire up to a certain pressure, enough for you to go to a garage and then check that your pressures are correct. Now this plugging is temporary. I suggest that you take it to a dealer so you can plug it on the inside properly. But that's how you plug a tire. Folks, that's it in a nutshell, how to fix a tire, how to plug a tire next to the road. Until the next one, stay safe and don't get nails in your tires. Cheers.